Real quick story for you. It happened maybe 22 years ago when I was teaching 11th grade science. In Philadelphia, when I taught, the populations or the ethnicities from my Latinx brothers and sisters that I dealt with were either Puerto Rican or Dominican, and that was just about it. So in my mind, I thought that was all that existed. That was my scope of experience of dealing with my Latinx brothers and sisters. Well, I moved to this new town, and I'm having the same assumption in my mind, very narrow thinking. And I'm teaching in the class. I mean, it's a great class. We get along well. Everything's going well. And I made a reference to one young lady, assuming that she was Puerto Rican, when she wasn't. She was Mexican. And I saw her get upset, visibly get upset. So I questioned. I said, why'd you get upset? I'm sorry. I didn't know. Why'd you get so upset? I mean, isn't it basically the same thing? I know, sounds crazy, right? Well, right about that time, her friend, who was Puerto Rican, stepped up to me and said, Mr. Miller, because she's Mexican, I'm Puerto Rican. We're from two different places. It's two different things. What do you mean, is it the same thing? No, it's not. Well, when that young lady was doing that to me, saying that to me, there was a young man who happened to be a young white boy in the classroom, and he saw that it was okay to jump in the conversation, so he brought his social studies book up to my desk, and he pointed to a map, and he said, Mr. Miller, here's Mexico, here's Puerto Rico, they're two different places, two totally different nationalities, just different, right? And right after that, another young lady came up to me and said, Mr. Miller, how would you like it if someone called you white? Well, at that point, that was like the nail that drove it sealed the coffin for me, because I understood at that point, that was the example that kicked me over the edge to understand that, these were two different ethnicity groups, and I needed to learn them, and I needed to respect and honor their heritage and their background, just as if I would want someone to respect and honor mine. So that began my journey 20 years ago to becoming more culturally responsive in the classroom systems that I built. So from that conversation, those students saw my vulnerability. And it was an awkward moment. And usually race and ethnicity is something that's taboo to talk about, in society. Well, I saw the opportunity to humble myself and ask questions so that the students can see what I didn't know. And I could see what they didn't know about me, and they could teach me about them, and I could teach them about me. And a whole different type of learning happened in the classrooms on a social level, which made it easier for me to teach that science content. And we also built some relationships. 20 years later, I'm still receiving, invitations to bridal showers and weddings and college graduations and quinceañeras and all of those things, simply because I had the wherewithal in that moment to humble myself and ask the tough question in an awkward situation. So as you're building your culturally responsive classroom systems, humble yourself and ask the tough question. You'll be surprised what your students can teach you.